All right, everyone. So, welcome to another episode of Know Your Alumni. So, I'm very excited for this episode. It's definitely one the person that I idolize. So, I'd like for you guys to introduce Adam Martin. Just a quick description about him. So, he's a PharmD graduate from University of Pittsburgh in 2012, and now he's achieved his dream to integrate diet and health with a profession of pharmacy, as he is the founder of Fit Pharmacist, a successful health and wellness brand on numerous social media platforms. So, how are you today, Adam?
Oh, dude, my brother from another mother. It's good to be here.
Good, good. Other. I know you've a lot of success, and we can't add it all in 30 minutes. But is there any kind of something that I might have missed about about you or?
Yeah, dude, and that's the biggest thing I hear is I didn't know you were in PDC. And it's hilarious because, like, if y'all have been following me for a while, first off, thank you so much for the kind words and the support and for having me on this because I'm a huge PDC brother, but not only that, but fan and supporter. So if you guys have been following my content on Instagram or all the videos I've made, I hope you've noticed the tonality of each needs the help of the other. Together we rise, because that is directed towards giving back support where that is due, right back to Phi Delta Chi. And that's why I'm so honored to be here today. So that is the big fact I want everybody to know.
That's awesome. I mean, definitely each needs to help the other. I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why you're here. So, thank you so much. So the main focus for this one, I know for the past episode, we always talk about, pharmacy this and pharmacy that. But with the current COVID and, pandemic, everyone kind of has created their side hustle and kind of created like trying to make their own niche into this world. So
Yes.
the first thing I want to ask is, I mean, Fit Pharmacist started 10 years ago. I don't want to make yourself feel old, but
I've got some grays, but it could be
yeah, no,
from
no.
pharmacy.
But what we want to know is with the how busy pharmacy school is, all the studying. How did Fit Pharmacist came to life?
Awesome question, man. And it really came when I was a pharmacy student and going into community. So I worked full-time community since I graduated in 2012. But when I was in pharmacy school, that's when I kind of got on my health kick, because I started to see that if you did things that were good for your health, like sleeping, eating right, going to the gym, you would thrive, just like you would thrive in the classroom environment. Now, if you did things that were helpful for class, like sleeping, eating well, you would be able to focus better. Your grades would go up and so forth.
Right.
So I started to realize this dichotomy, because on that other side of the coin, if you went out and partied and didn't sleep and ate like crap, long term, you'd start to suffer both physically and with your attention in the classroom. So it became this dichotomy of fitness and pharmacy. All right. And whenever I went into work as an intern at the pharmacy, I'd always, have my meals prepped and going in. And this one day, the pharmacist looked at my food and started laughing. I was like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Enjoy being healthy now, because when you're a pharmacist, you can kiss that goodbye." And I was like, "Oh, really?" So
I like how in your head
that,
it became a challenge rather than
yeah. I was like, "What do you
a
mean?"
prediction.
Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of kept with it. And there's people in my class that were really into fitness and really saw the benefit of feeling better and performing better and just having a better attitude overall. So they just started asking me questions about, what do you do for your fitness? Because I became a certified personal trainer actually on my off block through American College of Sports Medicine, which does, those criteria for diabetes and so forth. But anyway, I started forming this clique. And then when I graduated, some of my friends, this is right when Instagram was like starting, were like, "Dude, you need to get on Instagram." I'm like, "What's that?" And they said, "You got to make a name that really emulates what you're about." So I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I like fitness, and I'm a pharmacist, and I like that. So I'll be the fit pharmacist." So that's literally where it came from, is on a whim, you got to pick a name. But from that, I just started to share, people would reach out to me because I was really into fitness, and I'd, share the food memes and stuff. And I had, like, I don't know, 50 followers at the time. But over time, people started to see that this dude works full time and actually likes his job, and he's able to fit in fitness. And honestly, dude, I thought that was normal. Like, I had no clue that there was burnout and people hated their job. And that was the norm. And that's still the norm and rising. Like burnout's a pandemic in pharmacy.
Right. Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
it was like a wake up call. I'm like, what's the deal? Like, why are people struggling? So I started to have people reach out and say, how do you do this? How do I fit in fitness? Like I'm too busy. I'm so stressed out. I don't even feel like working out because I had such a rough day. So I just started helping people along that journey. And then people that were also into fitness and pharmacy started reaching out, and I just started to have a growing platform and invited those that were about that life, about really going after dispensing their full potential, to share that as a way to show people, yes, you can do it because I did. Here's what I overcame. Here's where I'm looking to go. And you take that small beginning and expand it. And here we are today with the Fit Pharmacist. So that I tried to make it as short as possible, but it's really just, inviting people in and sharing. And that's how my whole brand started, was helping pharmacists and pharmacy students really prioritize self-care in a way that was practical and made sense. So oftentimes when you think, oh yeah, I need to take care of myself more, you automatically get all these tips and lists, and you're like, I don't have time for that crap. I'm a pharmacist. I don't even get a lunch break.
Right.
So I thought, how could we not add things, but just make simple changes so that you still have the same kind of things, but you increase your productivity. So that's kind of where my brand started and where I wrote my first book, RxU, just helping the pharmacist and the pharmacy student really find those simple solutions to increase their mental health, their physical fitness, and their nutrition in a way that made sense and was simple, because we don't get lunch breaks. So how are you going to get innovative with staying on track? So that's kind of where everything started from.
Man, that I can definitely attest to that. I mean, if people don't know, I'm a fourth year student right now, and it takes a lot of energy out out of you,
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
it does.
so
And
it,
props
it
to you, man, for doing that in pharmacy school and having this amazing platform. I think you said you've done like 30 of these interviews. So just share for the good
right.
of PDC. So that's mad props, man. I love that.
Thank you. I mean, it's one of those things where I think, when you're really motivated, sometimes you kind of forget, that you're tired just because you're just excited to kind of work on the project, get it started. And it's definitely what happened, especially when I did, I mean, I don't know, like probably like 25, 30 videos. So,
Wow.
but it's amazing though to kind of hear you um, kind of see it as a challenge
Yeah.
rather than, like as a prediction, which is great because um, when I was in pharmacy school, I mean, it was burnout, like
Yeah.
probably like the first year. So it's really nice to see somebody that actually overcame that situation, So, um, which is great, and I'm happy you were able to kind of spread the word around. I think it's funny how you said you started when Instagram was just starting, because I even remember when Instagram first started. So, that's awesome.
Thanks,
But
man.
so when it comes to kind of the fit pharmacist, what do you feel like um, the common pitfalls you had in regards to creating the brand, um, and I guess like suggestions to everybody on how to avoid it or overcome it.
Absolutely. And I think it's funny you say the brand, because real talk, I did not go into like whatever this has become as a brand or a business intention at all. It straight up was, I'm going to share my passion and just, I want to meet other people because I'm just a people person. I love to meet people that are about, doing their thing, whatever that might be. And so that I just started sharing it, and people would reach out and say, you do this, but I have this struggle. This is where I fail. So what do you have to say about that? So I'd be like, well, have you considered this? Have you tried that? And they're like, no. And they would do it, and they have this success, and they'd have this spark. And they'd say like, oh, I've just been feeling so burnt out and hopeless. But this little thing that you talked me through really gave me that spark. And now I'm on this momentum to really look for more success, because that little change I made allowed me to say, wow, if I'm able to do that, I wonder what else I can do. And it just spiraled, dude, from there. So over time, I would start hearing things like, you have such an amazing brand. And how did you build your business? And I was like, I don't have a business. What do you mean brand? Like I didn't know no intention whatsoever. But what started to happen is exactly that. It started to become a brand to the point where it's the most influential brand in the profession, which just blows my mind. And it's like,
Oh,
I still can't believe it.
man, it's
And then
amazing.
turned,
Like, trust me,
thank you, man.
everyone's heard of it. So,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is it turned into a business. So I started to realize that I talk a lot and I can actually make impact with my mouth. So I got into speaking and became a professional speaker last year and had the opportunity to fly to Ireland this January 2020, back when that was legal and okay and all that.
right.
But that's the thing is, I was in a country I'd never been before, in a room of 3 pharmacy schools of Ireland, and 90% of the room heard of me before. And I was like, what the heck? And I was like, wow, there's something here. And it took me years to realize it. But right around that time, I started to go to a lot of pharmacy conferences, because in order to be a professional speaker, you have to give 20 paid talks in a 12-month or less time frame. And I did that while working community full time. So I met a lot of people, okay?
Right.
And people started to ask me, the same types of questions. Because I'd give my talk, but I'd always stay around after to answer questions and help people. And the thing was, how do you stand out because it's so competitive? How do you like I feel like a PharmD isn't enough. And I started to hear this over and over and over again. So I started to really look at it, because I didn't do a residency. I just loved going to conferences and meeting people and just
Right.
creating value from my passion. So I came to this conclusion that that's what pharmacy is now. If you look back in the day, like 20, 30 years, even like 15 years, having a B Farm or a PharmD, you got that, you graduated, you were set for life. You could literally coast your career on a cushy salary and everything else. Fast forward to reality nowadays,
Hmm.
that's your starting place. And that blows my mind. Like, you graduate with the doctorate, and that's ground zero. Like,
Right.
that blows my mind, because that's literally how competitive it is. So pharmacy schools are realizing that, not that it's right or wrong, but they're saying, okay, you need to be more competitive. So we're going to push doing a residency or a fellowship. Doesn't matter necessarily what your career goals are, but you need to get more letters after your name. You need to get more experience.
Right.
And a lot of people feel like that's not their path. They feel like, well, if I don't do that, am I a failure? Does that mean I'm going to be behind in my career? And that's where personal branding comes in, because I started to meet people who were absolutely phenomenal pharmacists and students, by the way,
Right.
but they didn't have the credentials. They didn't have like a granddaddy who founded APHA or anything like that. They just had relentless commitment to going after pursuing mastery in their passion for the sake of helping other people. And they were dominating their career. Whereas other people trying to get in that space had a PhD or a master's or a 2-year residency, but you didn't never heard of them. They
Right.
had the degrees, but they weren't applying it. So it started to like click. I was like, okay, you got a doctorate. That's like your starting point. What are you going to do? Like, no, I'm not harping on residencies or fellowships at all. It depends on your path and your goals. But what I'm saying is, if people don't know about you, if you're not on social media, not to say you have to be, but if people don't know about your value as the go to expert in your niche, you simply don't exist. You can get as many degrees and certifications as you want, but if you're not providing value in an innovative way that either creates a new solution or makes existing solutions easier to implement or simpler to understand, you do not exist. And that's literally how pharmacy works. And you've heard this, I mean, y'all listening or watching this, I've heard this how many times? Pharmacy is a small world. And if
Hmm.
it's that small and people don't know about what you have to offer, what are you going to do about it? And that's what personal branding is all about, is it's taking your passion and saying, how can I create value to help other people using what I have as my skills and my interests, so that I can help other people along their path, along their journey.
Right.
And when you do that consistently, you start to build a brand. You literally start to be the CEO of your own life. And that's what's really amazing, is the person that's responsible for that is you. And that's what's so cool about that process.
No, that's amazing. Actually, if people, I mean, most people that know me know I love conferences. I think I go to about 3 or 4, like every year. And it's like, why
Oh,
do you
dude.
go to it? Like, why?
Yes.
And I was like, it's a great place to meet people because, let's say, for people who know me, I go to Washington State University in Spokane, Washington, and it's not like one of those easily accessible areas for for to
Yes.
meet other students and stuff. So I love going to conferences, and I'm that guy that feels like it's walking everywhere, like going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
different, talking to everyone, and some people are like, hey, I'm gonna go eat, it's like, no, there's like a meeting or a conference somewhere in a different room, we need to go talk to them, like, it's it's great. So I love hearing you kind of like, tell people to go to conferences. It's, it's amazing.
Perfect
um
example of that too, dude. Wasn't there a cool one in Houston last June or last July?
oh yeah, well, now that you mentioned that,
No, but perfect
I,
example. So
I
where tell us about that conference real quick.
So it was the SNAFA conference. If you don't know what SNAFA is, the Student National Pharmaceutical Association. Um, it's someone I've gone to since first year. I think I'm actually gonna go again in NOLA coming November, and it's great. I met so many people that have the same mindset as me. Um, when it comes to SNAFA, the big idea is to serve the underserved, and
Yes.
it's something that I'm really passionate about. So shout out to all the SNAFA peeps that hear this, and it's just great to be in the same room that have the same idea, the same passion to serve, the community, but also the world.
Exactly.
So it's an organization that I just fell in love with, and it's the same as Phi Delta Chi, where I think I've gone every single year to all the regional. And I just love every minute of it. It's so great meeting everyone. It's great to hear everyone's successes and how everyone wants to be a mentor. it's
Yes.
it's great. Like
Yeah, everyone wants you to win. They're like, how
yeah,
can I help you?
exactly. I
Yeah.
don't even have to ask, okay, can I be, your mentee? And it was like, let me take you under your wing. Let me help you. And it's been an amazing experience, overall. And I think it really made, when it comes to pharmacy, there's like a little bit of scare now,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
especially just like you said, it's very competitive, and you kind of have this mode where like, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough to apply for fellowship, to apply for residency, to get all this leadership? So it's honestly great to kind of just be in an organization, such as Phi Delta Chi and SNAFA, that's able to like help you out when you need to, and it's, attestation to it. I mean, you're here right now, like, I felt like we've only, talked for 15, 20 minutes. I felt like I'm like, you're my mentor already, so it's
Oh
amazing.
wow. That's awesome, dude. But
Y-
yeah, so props to you for going to conferences. But I just wanted to paint the value of that. So yeah, I spoke at that conference, National SNAFA conference in Houston last July 2019, and you were there, and you came up and asked questions, and it was awesome. But that's why I love those talks, because you get to show up, you get value, you get to build that relationship, so that down the road, when you send an email and you say like, "Hey, I'm running the series. I went to your talk." I'm like, absolutely. Like, I would say that anyway because you're PDC and that's what I do for my brothers.
right.
But there's context, and that's what branding is you have context. So at pharmacy, if you cold call, we're skeptical, right? There's
Right.
always people that are like scamming and want to trying to sell you something. But if you have context, someone reaches out, they see the work you've done, they met you at a conference, that says to them, these people are serious because they're putting in work to make content. They showed up at a conference. So there's instant credibility there, and that's invaluable. And that's the value of a brand that you, my friend, are building. And I just wanted to really give that example because that's you're putting it into practice as we speak, literally.
It's funny because I didn't even think about that. It was just like, and I was like, I just, kind of wanted to explain where I am, so
Yeah.
it's great that there's actually, I guess it shows the value of conferences and just
Yeah.
networking in totality. Now that we're kind of in this question, it's something that I feel like I kind of struggle with. I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah.
When you're meeting so many people, not just conferences, but everywhere, how are you able to kind of like keep like, like the contact and the rapport within those said networking? Let's say I mean, you have a lot of followers, you have a lot of people asking you all the time. So how are you kind of like able to like keep all that workload, like intact?
Great question, man. So really it's seeking to understand people. and really see, is there a place here where you want help or you're interested in something I'm interested in? Because if someone comes to me and says, I really want to crush my fellowship, what can I do? I can give you general principles, but I've not done a fellowship. And every single talk that I give, because I'm a keynote speaker at pharmacy organizations, state organizations, and pharmacy schools literally across the world. And I say this all the time. I refuse to get up on your platform and talk about something I haven't practiced myself. It's a disservice and it's not going to help you. And I won't do it because I don't have notes for that. And that's why I don't use notes, because I talk from real life.
Right.
But that's the value of networking and branding, because one of my students that I helped, who actually just started her fellowship, that's her brand. And that's something that we talked about a few months ago. Is this is her passion, is in the pharmacy industry. Okay, she's going into pharma. She's starting her fellowship that she created herself. There was no program at her school of pharmacy, so she went out, found the opportunity, created it. Now she's left a legacy for others who follow to now have an opportunity that didn't exist, and she's going after that. So if someone comes to me, I can refer them to her because that's her passion and expertise.
Right.
So it's really finding your lane of what you're passionate about and staying true to that. So it's great to have a network for that reason, is you can make sure that if you can't help that person to give the best answer to their question, you can direct them to someone who can. Now, as
Okay.
far as staying in touch with people, it's really just making an effort and making time. And you're going to have people, and you guys listening or watching this, I'm sure you know that you meet people at conferences, you're in the moment, there's all this hype, and everyone's, making plans, and we're going to do this, and but then next week, what happens? Oh, I'll get back to you, or, seen, but no response, things like
Right.
that. And that's the norm, and people get busy, life happens. But it's the people that, a week or two later, they still reach out, or you reach out and they give you a thought out response. Those are the people that really want to learn. Because when you're in the moment, when you're in a conference, or you just heard a talk, maybe this podcast, yeah, you're at a peak state, you want to learn. But down the road, if you're still having that interest, that's the people you can really help. So again, you've got to meet people where they are. You can't, you as a pharmacist or pharmacy student, you guys have all this knowledge. You're the drug experts, right? That's what we do. But if you've got a patient that doesn't give a crap about improving their lifestyle and they don't want to hear your counseling points, are you going to spend the time to help that person? Or are you going to invest that time with someone who's totally terrified with their new diagnosis of diabetes and will do whatever it takes to feel like they have some say in controlling their health? And they would love to hear what you have to say about medications, monitoring side effects, what hypoglycemia is, the whole deal. So you've got to realize you've got to meet people where they are, and you can only help people who want to be helped and those that can get value from what you have to offer. So again, approach everyone like you can help them, and then from that process, just go from there. But yeah, it's just being consistent with that and having some sort of system that works for you.
Okay. No, no, that's really really helpful. Just because I felt like that's just, you probably had that. It was just such a struggle to just like keep like reconnecting,
Yeah,
and that.
organization too. So I'll
Right.
just throw out a tip: is you on Instagram you can have like favorites. So in your saved, like when you do a little bookmark, you can
Uh-huh.
create albums. So you can have like pharmacy students, pharmacists, whatever.
Oh.
Emails, you can create contacts in your when you add someone. So when you on your iPhone, when you add in a contact under business name, you can put like met at conference, or like you can put notes
Oh.
like met at this or that, so you can organize it. So that's really the key of keeping that straight, is having some sort of system that works for you to keep things organized, so that, like for me, for example, I'm always connecting with people to see can I be of service at your white coat ceremony,
Right.
at your convocation to come and serve as a keynote speaker. So where have I met people in that environment that I can touch base with? And I just went through this process literally today, going through my contacts of who I met at speaking engagements to touch base and see, is there an opportunity in 2021, because 2020 we've got that COVID. So
Yeah. So, well, I plan on skipping 2020, so like
yeah, I think the world is, man.
my birthday's not gonna happen. My age is
Oh,
gonna stay the same this year. you know.
Oh no.
So I'm gonna stay that age because 2020 doesn't exist.
Yeah,
But just like I said, these are all amazing tips. But we do want to know, how can we learn more from you? Like, we're not sure if you're doing anything new or.
absolutely, man. So the best place, honestly, is Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I try to respond to every DM and point people in the direction or provide an answer. So on there, I'm at the Fit Pharmacist. I do have a podcast I've been running for about 2 years. So I think, today we released episode 120. So new episode every week from not just me, but I invite other experts in pharmacy, whether they're in school or doing some entrepreneurial venture. But basically, the gist is, if you want to create a career that you love, that's where you want to listen to the tips from people who are actually doing it to give you these kind of tips. New episode every week. It's on all podcast platforms. The Fit Pharmacist Healthcare Podcast, because I invite all different areas of healthcare because we are a team. But yeah, man, and we're talking about branding, and that's really what my focus has become. So coming back to the beginning question of this interview, when you said, like, tell us how you got started with the Fit Pharmacist. Well, that was kind of a process, as I was all into helping people self-care. Then what started happening is meeting so many pharmacy students and new grad pharmacists, they felt so behind that they couldn't stand out, or they were just not, quote, not good enough to make a difference. And realizing that, oh, no, yes, you are. You're actually better than you think you are. And that's really what I help people do, is to find that through the power of building a personal brand, which without a doubt is the ultimate competitive edge, in my opinion, better than any degree you can add on to your PharmD, unless you're in a special environment. But that's really what I've come to make my passion, is helping people build their brand based on the brands that I've built and guiding them through that process. So if that's something that you guys are looking to do, and stand out and really leave a legacy rather than clock in at a dead-end job that you resent, definitely hit up scriptyourbrand.com. That's where I run an online course guiding you through step by step how to script your brand from start to momentum for years to come. And I am your guide through that process, because if you win, that is literally what fulfills me. So that's why I love speaking. I love going to conferences. Is I love meeting people that are really about advancing the profession, adding their own personality to innovate that and make it better than it was when they got into it. And if I can kind of augment that and help them create a platform that gives them a voice to do that at a more effective rate, that's how I feel fulfilled. So that's why I'm all about this stuff, man, and why I'm so honored to have that invitation to come talk about it.
No, it is awesome. I mean, it's really great. I know it's something we talked about like how when you create your brand, it's almost like a win-win situation, because you're helping the organization you're part of, you're helping the community, but you're also helping yourself. So definitely amazing. I'm definitely gonna sign up for that training that you have.
Thank you, man.
So I think it's gonna be awesome. So now I feel like we've talked a lot about branding. So now you're called the Fit Pharmacist. So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
go to the fit portion of things.
Sure, man.
So with
You gonna have me
pharmacy
do
school,
push-ups?
man. Well, I was, I think I can do maybe like 10 right now. COVID has gotten a
Heck
hit
yeah,
on me.
man. Do it. Yeah.
But like, just even before COVID, right, with pharmacy school, there's a struggle to stay, um, like active,
Yeah.
even not just physically, but even mentally active. So, kind of just wondering if you give us suggestions out there for all the struggling pharmacy students, on how to kind of keep stay in shape, and stay healthy and happy during your pharmacy career.
Dude, I love that you shifted towards mental fitness, because in my opinion, that's the most important.
Right.
And I've been hosting a series for going on 5 years now, where every Friday I call it Fit Pharmacist Friday. So whether you're a pharmacy student, pharmacist, or pre-pharmacy student, it doesn't matter. As long as you're pursuing what you define as your best, that's fitness. So it doesn't mean like you weigh a certain way, or you look a certain way, or you bench whatever. Fitness is how you define it, but it really boils down to you going after your full potential. So mental fitness is huge because if you don't have that up here, the body achieves what the mind believes, right?
Right.
And with pharmacy, y'all know about that stress word because seriously,
Yeah.
pharmacy is like a synonym for stress. Like that's real talk. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So if you don't have a way to ingrain that into your daily life, it'll eat you alive. And that's why we have burnout on a rampant pandemic in pharmacy. And burnout simply is unmanaged stress. It's
Right.
a lack of self-care. That's what burnout is. So it's easy in the short term to say, I'm too tired. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like it. That's okay every once in a while. But when you get into the habit of that, that's when it can become dangerous. Just like looking at it from a pharmacist perspective, high blood pressure, right? No symptoms, nothing.
Hmm.
So if you skip your medicine, your numbers might look high, but you don't feel bad. So,
Right.
so it's like, what's the big deal until you have a crisis? Just like it's cool to skip meditation or reading or just spending quality time or going on a walk or whatever you like to do until you have a meltdown at work and it causes irreparable damage because you make a long-term decision based on a short-term emotion. So that's why it's so important, it can creep up on you. But to give you guys tips on what to do, I found this to be a huge issue. Is pharmacy is one of the most stressful professions in the world, but there's not a resource for how to manage that. So that's why a couple of years ago I wrote that book. It's on Amazon and Kindle. Highly recommend you guys check it out. It's short, simple, to the point, and actually has practical tips that work. Written by a pharmacist. It's called RxU, the Pharmacist Guide for Managing Stress and Fitting in Fitness.
Okay.
So that's one resource. The podcast, I give tips on there as well. So the Fit Pharmacist Healthcare Podcast. But I just want to say this: just because you don't go to a gym doesn't mean you're fit. You're not fit, right? It doesn't mean that you have to go and uh, fit into a bikini if you're a girl, or you have to bench 600 pounds if you're a guy. It means doing something you actually like on a consistent basis. So people ask, what does that look like? What's realistic for you? Because some people, if they walk 20 minutes 3 times a week, that's actually a huge stretch. But if they did that, that would get them on the path of success. So that's your goal. Other people might be working part-time and they're able to do an hour 4 times a week. Do that, but start somewhere small so you can just get a taste of that momentum and build in that routine so you can build up that habit. So that's the physical part. The mental part, do something you like. I am a
Yeah.
firm advocate of Netflix and chill. So if that helps you relax and kind of clock out of pharmacy so you can, think your thoughts or
Relax.
just veg out, do that. Do what you like, but just make sure when you do it, you're fully present. And when I say that, I don't mean like relaxing by watching a movie, but then also scrolling on social media and texting and watching a video. That's literally not going to help. So whatever you choose to do, really make an intentional effort to be fully present in that because you deserve that. You can't pour from an empty cup. So fill yourself up.
I really like that, because I've read a lot of like, like health books and stuff that teaches you, but I've never really, and it's not the first time I've heard about, hey, you know, be active, be present, but I've never heard it in such a way that kind of like spoke to kind of like, you know, that spoke to me. Because I do notice that, that sometimes I do something, but then it's almost like a background noise where I feel like
Yes.
I'm not really in that moment, so that's really amazing. And I was like, I actually create like a sticky notes of quotes
Yes.
on my
Oh,
laptop. So you, my friend, were just added in there. So
oh, I made the
congratulations.
wall. Yeah. I'm gonna put that on my
Yeah, and
resume.
but the one big thing I've always liked actually was I think I got it from like a wrestler. Um, he said one day or day one,
You decide.
which is true because you could always say, hey, I want to start meditating, or I want to start going to the gym, like those kinds of stuff. It's like I'll do it tomorrow, and it becomes tomorrow never happens, right? If you say you're gonna do it tomorrow, it never comes. But if you say day one's now, and then you kind of have into like that different mindset,
I've got some. You mind if I share some quotes on that topic?
yeah.
So the first one is There are 7 days in a week, and someday is not one of them.
That's a good
Another
one
one.
too.
That, dude, these are things I've picked up through life experiences that have stuck with me.
Uh-huh.
And we all do. We're all human. We want to, not do what we know will help us because we just don't feel like it. I do that too.
Yeah.
I'm human. The other one, and true talk, I heard this when I was a sophomore in high school. It was on the wall, and I still remember it to this day.
Okay.
Today's preparation determines tomorrow's achievement.
Oh, I think
So
I've
just,
heard that too. That was
yeah,
really
just little
good.
things that I've picked up through my journey that have really helped kind of help me check myself when I get
Right.
in that space. But it doesn't mean you have to be go, go, go and always do this and da, da, da. But give yourself some grace, but also be honest with yourself and have those check-ins. So I think that's good.
That's awesome, man. You're filling up my sticky notes, man. I don't know if
Oh
you only got
no.
one. I'm gonna just put you in one. I'm sorry.
That's all good. I gotta save space for other people.
There we go. But if anyone really has any questions, it's someone where I've been talking to Adam for maybe about a month, 2 months, and he's been so helpful. He's ready to help anybody, and you could tell, you know, he's a speaker, podcast, he has the training. He's really here to help everybody. So if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out. Um, for the very last thing we'll do is I actually do like this quick lightning round.
Oh,
You know,
let's do it.
so we'll ask some quick questions and um we'll see what your answer is. Okay.
All right,
All
just fair warning. I wasn't in row kai. I was more in back row kai or low kai or no kai. So I hope my answers are okay.
Oh, no. This would be I'm not gonna ask any like pharmacy question. This would be
Oh,
like
okay.
a fun question. Like the first question would probably like, what Disney princess would you be or something like that. So
Oh, okay. Cool, cool.
yeah, no. So don't worry. I don't even know if I can say I'm in loci. I'm probably lower than loci. So
But there's back row kai, dude. There's so many organizations. There's back row kai. There's low kai. There's no kai, and there's no way kai. So you pick.
I
There
might be part of all four of them. So but doesn't mean I'm not learning. I love
you
pharmacy.
go.
So
Absolutely.
all right, ready? Okay, we'll start with the first one then. Last song you downloaded.
Ooh,
I know you're
yeah, dude. I'm
graduated 10
actually
years ago.
really on the hit, so I'm gonna actually pull up my playlist right here, recently added, and that would be "Secrets" by Regard and Ray. So I'm all about EDM, high BPM beats. So yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's it. I go to EDC. Well, at least I went when I was before pharmacy school, and
Oh,
man,
nice.
I'm all about that plur.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
It's a great environment. Everyone's so friendly. So
Hmm.
all right, Taylor Swift is blank,
Ooh, captivating, because you never know what's gonna
captivating.
happen next.
Yeah, I mean she keeps on switching like genres, so you don't really know what the next one's gonna be. Okay, what's your favorite show right now?
Oh, dude, Hunters. My pharmacy. So she's pre-pharmacy student. We just hired her. Awesome, awesome,
Uh-huh.
awesome girl. Going trying to get into Pitt Pharmacy, which is my alma mater. But she told me about this new show on Amazon Prime, and I don't want to make this a drawn out answer, but go watch Hunters. It takes place in 1977, and it's after World War II from Nazi Germany. All the high-ranking Nazis actually escaped and went into the U.S., got new identities, and are hiding under new identities. And there's a Jewish regime that's going to find these old war Nazis and take them out. And yeah, so
Oh
it's really
wow.
freaking cool. I just started watching it a couple days ago, but I'm already sucked in.
Is
So
that season? I'm assuming it's only season one still, or
yeah, it just came out this
it
year.
just came out?
There's 10 episodes, but each one's like a mini movie. So each
Yeah.
episode's like an hour. But yeah, it's
Oh,
called Hunters on Amazon Prime.
Hunters.
Go check that.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm always one of those people. I'm too scared to like start a new show because if it's bad, I have to commit to it. If I've seen
Yeah,
like,
yes.
are you the same thing? Like,
Yeah, man. I want to make sure, like, is this gonna be a good relationship? Like, I want to
yeah,
make sure. I need to check references, you know.
exactly. So I'm just like, I can't. All right, perfect. I'm gonna check that out. Um, cake or pie?
Why not both, dude?
I like that.
I mean, you have two hands. Come on now.
See, that's your outside the box thinking right there. I like that. That's good.
Well, yeah, because you take the pie out of the box.
Yeah, next time I'll show you a bar graph of a pie. You know.
Oh, there you go.
Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
No, never, never will.
Never. All right, good. Um,
I love
let's
these.
see. How about this one? How many pull-ups can you do in a row?
In a row. I don't know if I've ever tried that, but because of COVID, the gym shut down in March, and I actually had to turn my apartment into a gym. So I had Navy SEAL push-up day on Wednesday. If you guys follow me on Instagram stories, you know my journey. My kitchen turned into my squats, and I managed to find a pull-up bar at Walmart for 18 bucks. So in a row without stopping, I've never done that, but I tried. My goal was like 50 push-ups at a time. So I
Wow.
do like 5 sets of 10 kind of deal.
Wow. That's amazing. That's impressive. I
But
like that.
I can do more push-ups than pull-ups. So what I would do is Navy SEAL push-ups were 10 push-ups every 30 seconds for 15 minutes, but the focus was on form. So none of this half-ass stuff. You
Yeah.
had to really prioritize. When your form was done, you were done. But I did that for 10 weeks, and I got up to 325 push-ups in 15 minutes.
Wow. That is amazing.
Thanks, man.
I'm already tired after 20. Like
There you
not even
go.
like, like, oh, I'm going to give up. Like my arms are shaking. I'm working on it. Give me a break. It's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all right. Let's see. Oh, say good day, mate in an Australian accent.
Good day, mate.
Okay, yours is better. Okay, I'll give you that one.
Well, hey, you got to try, dude.
Good day, mate. Is that good?
Yeah, I win.
It's fine. I'll edit it out so no one else. All right. Well, we both love. I'm sure you love dogs because everybody loves dogs. But would you prefer big dogs or small dogs?
Ooh, I would have to say, hmm, I like both. So, true story. I wanted to be a vet before I got into pharmacy for like my whole life. So I
Okay.
like all dogs. It's like a unspoken rule that if you work at my pharmacy, you have to love animals. We have milk bones at our drive-through, and legit have patients come by just saying like, "Oh, I'm not here to pick up, but Mr. Kittles was in the car, so we're gonna get a milk bone."
Oh man, that's awesome. See, I mean, that
True
might seem
story.
small, but that's very like when you talk about like like patient service, like that's pretty good. So
Yeah, we
that's
we love
awesome.
our dogs for sure. It's a fun family atmosphere for sure.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. I want to give you a hard one before. So what's the last one? Name a word that starts with the letter Q.
Quirk.
Quirk. Okay. I thought you were gonna go with quiet. So but because it's
Dude,
ironic.
that's not me.
It's ironic. That's what I'm
That
saying.
ain't in my vocabulary.
So that's kind of it. So and just like I said, first of all, thank you so much, Adam. Like it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Especially as someone that's starting something new, having the passion for it, and definitely it's someone that's a fan of yours. So thank you. I think we've learned so much from you. So
My pleasure, man. It's an honor to be a part of this and really to be a part of PDC. I graduated pharmacy school in 2012, but that doesn't mean that the brotherhood ends there. It really just begins, and giving back is all a part of it because each needs the help of the other. And I try to live that in everything that I do. Super grateful for you, your efforts, and the brotherhood. So awesome to be a part of this.
yeah, definitely. Thank you. Triple AE. And then just like I've said before, if you guys have any question, you can actually just leave a comment on when we post this, and Adam will be happy to answer, or I can help you guys out with that. So, thank you everyone for watching, and you guys have a good night.